Tak, tak,
Again,
Yeah.
again.
tak, tak, tık, tak, tak, tık, 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 tık.
Ray's trilogy, which started with Pathir Pachali, continued into the second part, which was Aparajito, or The Unvanquished. And this film was made the next year in 1956. Ray initially hadn't really planned a trilogy or a continuative story, but this is how things were evolving. And Apu and the wonderful international success that Pathir Panchali had, and the character Apu generated a lot of interest. That sort of motivated him to move on and to make the second part. This was also a continuation of Pathir Panchali, the original novel, and in this we have the family which moved away from the villages to Benares, where Apu's father, who is a priest, works. And quite early in the film, Apu's father falls ill and then he dies. So it is about Apu growing up in a fairly unknown environment. It is about completely unexpected things happening. For instance, if the child has to continue to study, the mother is forced to take on a domestic help's job. So she has to step out of her home. She's the widow and she still has to work because she wants Apu to be educated. So there are all these quite, big changes happening. But what's important about Aparajito is the command that Ray begins to show over his material, over his narrative. And there are these largely, again, non-dialogic, very poetic, very eloquent cinematic experiences where you have long sequences of a little boy running across the ghats of Benares while there are the boats at the back, the priests are chanting, the wrestlers are wrestling. That's a very beautiful sequence. And then again, there's that wonderful fluttering of the pigeons as they fly off from the tops of the temples, and indoor, Apu's father breathes his last. So there are those very, very poetic, very eloquent, very cinematic experiences. And I think for the Indian audiences, particularly in Bengal at that point, to move away from heavy melodrama, to move away from heavy dialogic or dialogue-based sequences and drama, that itself was a very modern experience and a very international experience. And that is precisely why these films were appreciated so largely in the West. And Aparajito was the film which won at the Venice Film Festival. It won the Golden Lion. And so if Pathir Panchali was really putting Indian cinema on the map, putting Ray on the map, Aparajito, the second part of the trilogy, established him as a world cinema figure.